There's a small town where a young man named Aaron lived, known for his restless mind and unfulfilled dreams. He worked hard, yet nothing seemed to change. Every month looked like the last, every year felt the same. He wasn't poor, but he wasn't growing either. He wanted to be more, to do something, to become someone, to matter. One evening, after a long day at work, he sat on a park bench watching the sunset. A group of teenagers played basketball nearby, laughing and shouting, full of energy and joy. Aaron watched them with a faint smile, thinking of his own younger days when dreams were bigger and courage came easier. Somewhere along the way, he had stopped believing he could do something great. An old man sat beside him. His hair was silver, his hands wrinkled, but his eyes were calm, the kind of calm that comes from knowing things most people don't. The old man noticed the look on Aaron's face and asked softly, "Something's troubling you, isn't it?" Aaron hesitated but then sighed. "I'm just stuck. I work hard, but nothing seems to change. Everyone says, increase your value, but how do you actually do that?" The old man chuckled gently. "That's a question very few people ask out loud. You're already halfway there because you're aware something's missing." He leaned back, gazing at the fading orange sky. "Let me tell you a story." Aaron nodded, curious. The old man began. "Years ago, there was a young blacksmith in this same town. He wasn't the best, not even close. People went to others for work because his tools were just average. He didn't understand why he couldn't get ahead. He worked long hours, but the outcome was always the same. One day, a traveler stopped by his shop. The traveler watched him hammering metal with all his might. After a while, he said, "You work hard, but your tools don't shine." The blacksmith frowned. "They're strong." "That's what matters, maybe," the traveler said, "but people don't just buy what you make. They buy how they feel when they look at it." Those words stayed with the young man. The next morning, instead of rushing to work, he studied the tools made by other blacksmiths, their shape, polish, weight, balance. He realized something he had never seen before. The best blacksmiths weren't the ones who hammered the hardest, they were the ones who noticed the smallest details. He changed everything: how he held the hammer, how he heated the iron, how he cooled it. Slowly, his work began to shine, not only in strength but in craftsmanship. People began to notice. The traveler returned years later to find his shop full and his name respected. The blacksmith had increased his value, not by working harder, but by becoming better. Aaron listened quietly. The old man turned to him and said, "That's how value grows, not by adding more hours, but by becoming worth more in those hours." Aaron thought deeply about those words. He had always measured his life by effort, not by improvement. Every day was a repeat of yesterday, and he called it hard work. But maybe, he realized, he was polishing the same dull sword. The next morning, something shifted in him. He woke up earlier than usual, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. He looked around his small apartment, the books he hadn't read, the guitar he hadn't touched in months, the ideas he had written down and never tried. He felt a strange kind of fire in his chest, a quiet determination that whispered, "You can change your story." He began small. He started reading again, not just for entertainment, but to learn. He studied people who had succeeded, not to compare, but to understand what made them valuable. He noticed that value was never about luck or talent alone, it was about persistence and adaptability. At work, instead of complaining about the same routines, he started watching what made others succeed. The ones who grew fast didn't just show up, they improved their skills, they learned how to communicate better, they paid attention to what people needed. Soon, Aaron began volunteering for small challenges, projects no one wanted. At first, people thought he was wasting his time. But every task became a lesson. Every mistake became a tool. Slowly, his presence began to feel different. His boss started asking for his input. Co-workers sought his advice. Something invisible but powerful had changed, his value had increased. One afternoon, the same old man from the park visited his workplace. He was there to fix a small machine, and when he saw Aaron, his eyes sparkled. "You look different," he said with a smile. Aaron laughed. "I guess I am. I stopped trying to be noticed and started trying to be useful." The old man nodded approvingly. "That's the secret. When you become useful, you never have to chase success, it comes looking for you." That night, Aaron thought about the idea of usefulness. It wasn't just about having a job. It was about being someone people could count on. It was about solving problems, adding joy, bringing value wherever you go. He realized that in every room, every job, every friendship, value has a voice, and it speaks through action. When you keep your promises, when you show up on time, when you improve without being told, people start to trust you. And trust is the highest currency in life. Years passed. Aaron didn't just change jobs, he changed his mindset. He stopped saying "I can't" and started asking "How can I?" That single shift opened doors he didn't know existed. He learned new skills, built new habits, and became someone who made things better wherever he went. He became the person others recommended, the one they mentioned in rooms he wasn't even in. That's when he truly understood what it means to increase your value. It's when the world recognizes your growth without you having to say a word, but something else happened too. He realized that increasing value wasn't only about career or success. It was about who you are when no one's watching. Are you kind? Do you help without expecting anything? Do you make people feel safe, seen, inspired? Because the truth is, emotional value lasts longer than professional value. Skills can be replaced, but a good heart can't. One day, Aaron found himself back in the same park, sitting on the same bench, watching the same sunset. Only this time, he wasn't lost. A young boy sat beside him, frustrated about life, complaining about how things weren't working out. Aaron smiled softly, recognizing the old version of himself in the boy's words. He said, "You're working hard, but maybe you're hammering the same metal every day. You've got to sharpen your mind before your hands." The boy looked confused, but Aaron continued, "Your value grows when you grow. Read, learn, fail, fix, try again. Don't wait for life to make you valuable, become so valuable that life can't ignore you." The boy nodded slowly. "But what if no one notices?" Aaron smiled. "Someone always does. The world might take time, but it always recognizes those who keep improving. And when it does, everything changes: how people see you, how you see yourself, and how the world rewards you." That night, Aaron walked home feeling peaceful. He remembered how the old man had changed his life with just one conversation. Now he was doing the same for someone else. And maybe that's the final stage of value, when you no longer need to prove your worth, but instead, help others find theirs. He looked up at the stars, whispering softly, "Thank you," not knowing whether he was thanking the old man, life, or himself. You see, increasing your value isn't a destination, it's a daily choice. Every day, you decide whether you'll stay the same or rise a little higher. Whether you'll settle for comfort or reach for growth. When you invest in your mind, your skills, your character, the world begins to invest in you. The world pays attention to those who improve themselves, because improvement is rare. Most people want results without evolution. But when you evolve, you attract new opportunities, new relationships, new respect, and the most beautiful part, you no longer have to shout for recognition. Your work, your energy, and your presence begin to speak louder than words. So wherever you are right now, at the start, in the middle, or maybe even at rock bottom, remember this: you are not stuck. You are just one decision away from becoming more valuable than you were yesterday, and that decision starts with how you think. Ask yourself, am I waiting for the world to value me? Or am I becoming someone the world can't ignore? Because when you stop chasing approval and start chasing growth, your life changes in ways you can't imagine. Doors open. People appear. Opportunities multiply. That's not magic, that's value. And the beautiful thing about value is that no one can take it from you. They can take your job, your title, your things, but they can't take who you've become. So keep growing. Keep learning. Keep polishing your craft, your heart, your words, your discipline. Because every time you do, your light gets brighter, and the brighter you shine, the more the world can't help but notice. That's how you increase your value. And hey, if stories like this help you grow, inspire you, or just give you that spark to keep going, don't forget to subscribe.